You are listening to Turning 75 when yesterday I was 16, the space where we embrace all the greatness and realities of not only getting old, but getting better, just like all the things around us. Hi, this is Bonnie. Grab a chair and spend some time with me while I embrace a new technology, not something that I often do in this changing world. Due to a medical situation I find myself in, I am now staying in Ohio with my daughter and grandson. I live in a resort city in the South, and I don't have a whole lot of confidence in the medical industry there. So I came back to Ohio, where I lived for 13 years before I moved down south. I chose Ohio because, number one, my daughter lives here and she's my support system. And number two, they have incredible medical facilities here that I trust as much as I can trust allopathic medicine. I'm a naturopath, certified herbologist, and I like to practice natural healing when I can. But I know when natural healing is beyond my scope and I have to rely on doctors. And I will say that I have seen a large shift in the allopathic medical community to accepting integrative healing modalities and accepting my mindset of trying to limit the toxicity of things I put in my body. It's changing. And like I said, in the past 15 years, I've seen more acceptance of what they used to call my voodoo healing products. Anyway, the procedure I'm having requires me to fill out a form or have a dentist fill out a form that declares that I don't have any cavities or, yucky germs in my mouth. Unfortunately, the dentist I have down south, I liked him. I've been with him for a lot of years, but the dentist that I was using left the practice, which meant I have to find a new dentist. And I haven't found one yet. So I just figured, let me find a dentist here in Ohio, explain the situation, and see what they can do. Went to look up some dentists in the area where I'm staying and found one that could get me in literally the next day. That was amazing to me. But of course, I accepted the appointment and scheduled the dental appointment for the next day. What I experienced at this dentist's office was completely different than any other dentist I've ever been to. Listen, it was actually fun. When I went to the office, it looked like a regular dental office. They took me back into a room, and the dental assistant sat down and just started having a conversation with me about what did I need accomplished during the appointments, how do I feel about my dental care. One of the things that she said is that she would inform me of everything that she was going to do, and she would explain every procedure to make sure that I was totally comfortable with what would happen. I sure took my clue from that. It started with her showing me this little, it looked like a wand with a light on the end. She said she was going to take pictures of my mouth, usual x rays that they take when you're seeing a new dentist. I'm used to that. And I explained to her that I have very large tori in my mouth. Those are the bones on the upper and lower parts of the insides of your mouth. Those tori makes it very hard to get pictures of my mouth because you know how they put those bite wings in your mouth, pull this heavy x-ray contraption and take the pictures? Well, biting down on those bite wings can be difficult for me because of the large tori in the mouth. And I explained to her that hopefully we can get a good set of pictures. Some dentists can't. And she said, no problem. She takes this little wand and proceeds to take pictures of all the teeth in my mouth. She put the wand in my mouth and went click, click, click. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? It was so easy. And I'm the type of person that asks a whole lot of questions. When you're working on my body, what you doing? Why you doing that? I want to know. And she just said, I'm getting the pictures of your mouth. And she explained to me that, yeah, the wand, it was a lot easier. It was more efficient. So, okay, fine. Then she had to do a panoramic view of the inside of my mouth. I don't know if you've ever had one, of those where the x-ray machine just sort of goes around your mouth in a semicircle while you're standing up. But we went to another room to have this procedure done. And I stood in front of this contraption, put my chin on the chin rest, and noticed that there were two panels on the side of this contraption. And she explained to me what was going to happen and everything. So when she was ready to take the pictures of the mouth, I saw those panels coming closer to my head. And I'm thinking, and it was making this like whirring, I can't say that word very well, a noise that sounded like a hum, and it felt almost intergalactic or something. Well, the panels came, it didn't close tightly on my head, but it very lightly touched the sides of my head to make sure that I was holding it straight at all times. And this space age sounding voice says, hold your head straight and blah, 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 blah. We're going to take pictures. And the sounds were just sort of, like otherworldly. It was like being on a spaceship. And I was totally jazzed. I love this kind of stuff. It was new. I had never been in a situation like this. It was innovative. And it took less than 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Then back to the first room we were in. There was like a whiteboard in front of me in the dental chair. And she brings up that board and proceeds to show me inside my mouth. And I mean everything inside my mouth. She informed me that everything I had ever done in my mouth ever would show up on the pictures. And she was right. Every nook and every cranny. It was an experience. Now, she walked me through all the things, good or bad, that she was seeing. Nothing major, nothing really life-threatening or anything. And after she goes through telling me all about the teeth in my mouth, I could see every root canal I ever had. I could see any crowns I had. It was just, like I said, otherworldly. And after we finished talking, I turned to her, I said, do people like you doing this? And honestly, she said, no. People don't want to see the insides of their mouth. And I will tell you, I don't ever want to see it again. It was very informative. But looking at all of my years wear and tear inside my mouth, your teeth shift. It wasn't a pleasant sight. It was just sort of weary looking. You can see how your teeth get brown as you get older, like on the edges of your teeth. It Because of the tori in my mouth, I can't wear dentures because the bones are too big. I'm not the type of person that's going to let anyone put steel, metal inserts into my head for partials. Just not going to happen. So I have a couple back teeth missing, and that was not pleasant to see. It was interesting, but anyway, she told me everything about the inside of my mouth. And then she started cleaning my teeth, rather. She mentioned while she was cleaning the teeth that I didn't have a lot of plaque on my teeth. And I jokingly said to her, yeah, that's because I do oil pulling at night. Surprisingly, she said, oh, sure, that works. I was shocked. Oil pulling is an old tradition of cleaning the mouth. And not too many modern dentists that I've been to actually support that. But you do you, I do me. It's all good. But this dental assistant told me that she had done a study on oil pulling when she was in school, and it really does work. Do you know what oil pulling is? Every evening, let me say, mostly every evening, I take a soup spoon and scoop up a good quality, a very good quality coconut oil. Not the things you can buy at the dollar store, but a very good quality coconut oil. And I eat it, don't swallow, but I swish it around in my mouth, sucking it between my teeth. That's why they call it oil pulling. If the coconut oil is hard, which I prefer, I would rather keep it on the counter in the summertime because it doesn't really, I mean, in the wintertime regular, because it stays consistent, a thick consistency. But in the summertime, I will put it in the refrigerator because I know it's kind of yucky feeling in your mouth when you first put it in, and you have to start swishing right away so it melts the solid coconut oil. I just rather do it that way than put the liquid coconut oil in my mouth. It's just, I don't know, putting the liquid coconut oil would be a lot easier, but I do it my way. And I just swish it around in my mouth. Sh- I was, like I said, I was surprised when she said that to me. But she said a lot of the people that she serves, her customers, they don't like it because they say it takes too long. You're supposed to oil swish that stuff in your mouth for about 20 minutes. I do between 10 and 15. I will say I don't really make it to 20 minutes, but 10 or 15 works just fine for me. And don't spit it out in the sink ever because it's going to clog up your sink. I save the containers that my Clorox wipes, those wipes that you can use to clean and disinfect things. I save those large containers. It has a lid on the top. And when I finish oil pulling, I spit the oil in that container. And then it's sometimes if I'm using the wipes to clean up light fixtures and things like that, I'll also drop them in the oil pulling container because to me that's helping keep the bacteria in there low. That's a way for me to be able to do it for, maybe a week or so and then throw that container in the trash. But obviously, I'm doing something right because it was working. I did not have a lot of plaque on my mouth. The plaque I did have, the dental assistant had another little wand-like looking thing, and she just squirted water, I guess at a very high jet water, and cleaned it right off. Now, this was something that I have never had done before, and it changed my mind about dental procedures. Now, the dentists I have down south don't have this. I know most dental practices, I don't know how many have it or not. I don't know how many, dental practices are really up with this technology, but I thought it was great. I had no pain whatsoever. No one was scratching my teeth. No one was poking in my gums. It really was a pleasant experience going to the dentist. I like the fact that the dental assistant worked with me and told me everything that she was going to do before she started doing it. And it was pretty much painless. After she finished, the dentist came in, very gentle with my mouth, and said, "Okay, I can sign this form for you, ready to go." But he did sit down and spend time talking to me about my mouth and about what I wanted to see done, what kind of problems I was having. He was the first dentist that has ever told me how the tori in my mouth block doesn't keep my tongue can't lie flat. And I snore, so I hear. I don't really believe those people that say I snore. And I have sinus infections, problems with my sinuses. So I sleep on a wedge. I can't lie flat. I sleep on a wedge in my bed to keep my body a little bit upright so I don't wake up gasping for breath, like sometimes I do if I lie flat. It's not sleep apnea. I've had that, checked out. What he said, though, was because my tongue doesn't lie flat, it sort of tilts backwards and it's probably blocking off the air as I breathe because it's covering part of the back of my mouth. And I was sitting there thinking, all my many, many years that I've been to the dentist, now the tori didn't really show up growing really big until maybe 20 years ago, but no one ever said that could be a problem because no one has ever really asked me the questions that this dentist was asking me before. It was great. I'm going to shout out the practice for you because I told him I would when I see things that I like and the things that are good. Now, I don't know how many people are living in Ohio, but this place was called the Stone Ridge Dental Care. It's in a little suburban part of Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, called Gahanna. The dental assistant was Sela, very, very nice young lady. And the dentist was Dr. Patel. Now, Dr. Patel was telling me some good things about my mouth. And that was great. But girl, if you could see the hair this man has, I was so jealous of that hair. I had to even speak on it. I said, Dr. Patel, your hair is gorgeous. It was a salt and pepper black and gray and curly. I just was mesmerized by this man's hair. But take the pleasures where you can. Very good practice, better than any dental practice I will say in my whole years that I felt very comfortable, and I would go to the dentist without any dread if I could go to this practice. So, I hope you be able to have that kind of experience because it does make dental care. No spit cups. Remember the spit cups? None of that. Just plain old high tech dental care. Some technology is great, and I'm embracing every time that I can say that. Hope you can have that experience too, because I felt like I was on the Jetsons. Before I leave, I'm going to tell you one more thing. If the idea of oil pulling with coconut oil, and it has to be again a good quality coconut oil, if that grosses you out, you can also use xylitol. Xylitol is a form of sugar that is also antibacterial, rather, antimicrobacterial, all those, I get them all confused. You can use it the same way. You take a spoonful of sugar, put it in your mouth, and just start swishing. Your saliva will melt the sugar. And I can't say which one works better because sometimes when I just cannot justify or feel that I can justify putting that oil in my mouth, I will use the sugar. I also have found xylitol chewing gum. You won't find it in the regular stores. I go to a health food store and it's xylitol chewing gum. When I do with that, because I'm not going to walk around chewing gum, I just don't do that. After I eat, though, I will put a piece of gum in my mouth and I'll chew it for about maybe half hour because that is also cleaning my teeth after I finish eating. I also found it in toothpaste. I use the Himalayan brand of toothpaste because it has the least chemicals in it. And my daughter and I were shopping in what's that? Home Goods? Is it Home Goods? And next to it, they have or is it Marshalls? One of those stores, Marshalls or Home Goods, and they'll have products that they sell. And they had the Himalayan brand of xylitol toothpaste at a much lower price than you would buy it in a health food store. And I snagged a couple tubes of it. That also could be what leads me to being able to go to the dentist and not have a whole bunch of plaque on my teeth. Try it. You may like it.